In today's video, I will be putting ChatGPT to the test. I'm gonna ask him a bunch of questions which I know the answer to, and I wanna see if he actually answers it the right way. I'm not gonna introduce what this is because I'm just assuming you already know, and everybody does know what ChatGPT does.
A robot you can talk to.
I try to convince people to slow down.
I don't think we're ready for it.
And yeah, let's get started. The first question is, how do you install a Facebook pixel? That's a very technical question. A lot of people struggle with it. A lot of people think it's super annoying. So let's see. How do I install a Facebook pixel? To install a Facebook pixel to your website, you'll need to do the following steps. You go to the Facebook Ads Manager, click on Measurements and Report, tap on the top menu, click on Pixels, tap on the left menu, click on Report. This by itself is crazy. This by itself is already really good. And the crazy thing about this, it's gonna keep updating with all the updates Facebook does as well. Because if you watch a video on how to install a pixel, it's just gonna be out of date every single time because they're constantly changing the surface of Facebook, and some things are always gonna look different. Now the next question also should be very specific, and it's basically, how do I connect that pixel to my Shopify store? To connect the Facebook pixel to your Shopify store, you're gonna need to follow these steps. Go to your Shopify admin panel, click on Online Store in the left menu, click on Themes, and then click on the Actions button next to your theme you wanna edit. Now, first of all, I wanna talk about a bunch of things. Again, this is crazy, because I just wanted to say that this is the harder way and there's an easier one, and he literally said that alternatively you can do this, and this is exactly what I meant. However, the crazy thing here is I never said that I'm talking about a Facebook pixel in this question here. I literally said, how do I connect that pixel to my Shopify store? If I would open a new chat and just asked, how do I connect my pixel to the Shopify store? He's literally not gonna assume that it's Facebook. But because we already talked about Facebook in our conversation right now, he is talking about Facebook. And here is how to connect your Google Pixel phone to your Shopify store. You just download the app. It misunderstood it completely because I was not precise. However, again, this shows me that I can actually have a real conversation. The insane part about all of this is you have a live chat, which answers all the technical questions you want for every area of this business. Almost every technical question you can just ask, and this thing will answer. Until now, the only chat you always had was, for example, the Shopify live chat. It was great. If you have any technical questions, they actually are there for you and they will answer questions. Now, the problem is there's waiting time. It's annoying to deal with a person. The person has to think and actually tell you what they think about the whole situation. They will start asking you questions for context or whatever. This thing is better. Right now already, it's already better than the Shopify support. And on top of that, it's not limited to only Shopify. You're gonna ask questions about Shopify, Facebook, TikTok, Google, and all those things which are connected. Because with the Shopify support, the problem is they're constantly gonna lead you to other live chats. They're gonna say, hey, sorry about that, I don't really know. You have to ask the theme developer. You have to ask Facebook support. You have to ask Google support. You have to ask everybody, but not us, because we're only responsible for this bubble. And this is not restricted to one single bubble, it's everything. Now, those were technical questions. Let's ask him questions about how the law works with dropshipping. So one question which comes to mind is, do I have to pay VAT tax if I run a dropshipping business and sell to the USA but live in Germany? In general, VAT is a tax that is levied on Shopify supply of goods and services in the European Union. As a resident of Germany, you would be required to pay VAT on sales goods on services. However, if you're running a dropshipping business and selling to the customer in the United States, you would not be required to pay VAT because the United States is not a member of the EU. Crazy, because this is 100% correct. 100% correct. And if I would ask the same question here and instead of USA, say France, he's probably going to answer the same thing again. So as a resident of Germany, you're operating a dropshipping business selling to the customers in France, you would be required to pay VAT, correct? Because if you live in the EU and you sell to the EU, you need to pay VAT. If you live in the EU but sell outside, you don't have to pay VAT. This is 100% correct. And obviously, I would not take this as legal fundamentals, and you also definitely will need an accountant if you start making good numbers. However, one thing I'm actually curious about is if this thing would do a mistake. and you would base your actions on the mistake here, if there's some possible chance of this bot getting sued, because I know for me, if I give legal advice about dropshipping, I always have to officially say I am not allowed to give legal advice because I'm not an accountant, I'm not a professional lawyer, whatever. I need to say that so people do not base their decisions on my statements and I can get sued. I'm very curious how this would work on this. The next question is going to be a strategy one. What criteria are important when I select a dropshipping product that I want to run with TikTok organic? There's several criteria that you should consider when selecting a dropshipping product to promote on TikTok. Demand. It's important to choose a product that has a high level of demand. Competition. It's also important to consider the level of competition. Profit margins. You want to choose a product that has good profit margins and a decent profit on each sale. Quality. Shipping. So first of all, those criteria are bullshit. However, I wrote criteria wrong and he actually didn't correct me, but he just answered my question. Which is first of all amazing because he's not annoying the shit out of me and telling me what I'm doing wrong, but just understands what I'm doing wrong and corrects it in his head and just gives me the right answer, exactly what I wanted. Amazing. However, unfortunately, the criteria are not good. Those are obviously not the things which you should look out for while searching for a TikTok organic product, and you should think about completely other things, and he didn't mention like super important ones. However, this question is also very tricky. It really depends on your skills, on how advanced you are as a dropshipper, what the criteria should be when selling. And also you need to understand that in theory, demand, competition, profit margin, quality, and shipping are right. Practically, you should think about other things. This chatbot is not that smart yet, and I'm assuming in the next 10 years, if I would ask the same question again, he would actually give you a right answer. We also need to keep in mind, this is the very first version of this AI. The thing you need to know about AI is obviously it improves itself, and it's just gonna get better and better and better exponentially fast. Now, the main question we should be asking ourselves is, will dropshipping die because of this? Because this is actually one of the rare instances where you're gonna hear from my mouth that dropshipping might die because of AI. So let's address this, because over the last years, dropshipping was put on a blast for dying out. Everybody thought it's always gonna die out because of this, because of that, and every single time I knew 100% it's bullshit because people are just gonna buy and people will sell, etc. We're gonna experience two things. Number one is access to information which we never had. If this thing actually does figure out how to run a dropshipping business, they're number one are going to be able to tell you. And if they're going to be able to tell you, they're going to be able to tell everybody. And if everybody knows it, dropshipping will obviously die out because it doesn't work. Not everybody can sell. Number two is if you would have a bot which is going to analyze every product they see and just say this product, based on the metrics we're seeing from everybody else, is by far the best thing which you can sell for Facebook, for TikTok, whatever. Me, the bot, will build the store, will make that perfect ad, which we just know is optimized on retention, and it's going to be 100 times better than every video which Mr. Beast could do. And also, I'm going to make a perfect price and an amazing product description which is just there to buy. If there's going to be a bot which will do all of this, dropshippers instantly will not be able to compete. Now, what does this mean and when could this actually happen? Because in reality, there will be always a barrier to entry. Maybe there's going to be super expensive software which is going to cost hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, which if you have the access to, they will give you all the answers only, and this chat, like an official chatbot, is not going to be accessible to everybody, and the answers are not going to be that great. We're not talking even about the answers, but actually the done for you thing. If you actually would have some kind of software which is going to do it for you, it might be super expensive, and the barrier to entry is just going to be so high that nobody's going to be able to afford it unless you're super rich already. Or there might be other things which we don't even see coming. However, what I want to say here is if this actually happens, every job is going to die out. This is not going to be specifically dropshipping. I don't want to be this guy who's going to put in panic into everybody and just going to say, all right, dropshipping is going to be dead and that's it. No. If dropshipping is going to die out, I guarantee you doctors to a certain extent will die out. Lawyers will also die out. Musicians will die out. Everything else will also die out, and dropshipping is not going to be this one exception. It's not dropshipping is dead, but jobs are dead. Because just think about this, it might become illegal to become a doctor at some point. When a bot will have higher conversion rates on operations, so they're going to have less death and less mistakes, it's just going to be dangerous to use a real human as a doctor. Because if you think about a human, they need to learn their profession for the first 10 years. And then a doctor, even if they would have, which is not realistic, but let's say they have one operation every single day for 10 years. They're going to have a couple thousand operations which they've learned from. And now after 20 years, they become a somewhat decent doctor. The AI bot will be able to tell from every single mistake every AI bot did in the world. So if there's 1 million doctors, they're going to have one mind. All of them together will do millions of operations every single day. So all of them will learn from every single operation and not just from their own. This makes going to a human doctor extremely dangerous. Same thing goes for taxi drivers. If at some point self-driving cars are going to be so much more safe than not self-driving cars, it's going to be dangerous to go to a regular driver to a taxi or drive the car by yourself. Or just think about lawyers. If you're going to have a real lawyer, a human who knows the law but not perfectly well, they're going to do mistakes. A judge is also going to do mistakes. And all of those things are just going to be eliminated. So again, if we would actually have an AI which is going to be able to run a dropshipping business perfectly and is going to make way more money than every other dropshipper, it doesn't matter. Because all of the other things are also going to be gone and we're going to just figure it out. The one thing which might be left is creative work like art or music. But even that was completely disproven. There's been studies where there's 100 music critics which actually know music really well. And they're in a room and they listen to some Mozart songs and an AI song, which is just played. And they have to guess who did which one. And they were convinced 100% that there's no way a bot will be able to write as good as music as Mozart. In reality, they all picked the bot over Mozart and they were 100% sure that the bot is Mozart and Mozart is the bot, which was not the case. And it just disproves everything. So, same thing goes for art. If you go to your Instagram page, you're going to see a crazy amount of pictures of humans which are drawn and actually done really well. A human might not be able to compete with that at some point as well. Is all of this very worrying? Yes. I'm actually literally worried about all of this. Can I do anything about it? No. So I'm not going to give a shit and I'm just going to think about how I can implement this in my life and make my life better versus being afraid of my life being ruined because the bot was going to take my job. So it doesn't matter anyways. And if my job is going to be gone, everybody's job is going to be gone. So until we're at the point where jobs and dropshipping and everything is basically going to die out, if you want to make dropshipping work right now, you can click the link below, sign up for a call with me personally. We're going to find out if it's a good fit. If yes, we're going to actually start working in a program where I'm just going to guide you through the entire process of making a dropshipping business work. From A to Z, from finding a product, making the store, making the ads, running the ads either on Facebook or on TikTok or doing TikTok organic, scaling everything, branding, and repeating this process over and over again so you can actually make sure that all of this stays consistent and long-term. Now, the other thing I'm currently doing is I'm running a Q&A session on Instagram. You can just ask me whatever question you want on my personal Instagram, and I'm going to be responding to the best of my abilities. So for that, I'm just going to link my Instagram here and talk to you soon.